everybody. It's me, Sandra. I've come to you today to talk about the Kapalabhati breath, the power breath. I got inspired by the article I have in the newsletter there for you about the young fellow who saved his 80-year-old father with deep breathing. And I myself have been doing deep breathing to save myself from COVID-19. I've been working with Kapalabhati breath, and I first worked with it years ago with yoga, but it really came into my mind. We put on some Unity and Yoga conferences, way back in the early 80s. Long time ago now. I'm 78 now, so that was like 40 years ago. But they were the first yoga conference in North America. I was helping my yoga teacher do them. And we got yoga conferences going. It was fun. But at that yoga conference, I saw a yogi, and he did the Kapalabhati breath. He could do it 10,000 times. And I was so struck by his aura. And he was an older guy, kind of like me now. But he seemed young, and he kind of shone a bit, and it stayed with me, and I began to work with the Kapalabhati breath. And so but it really came into, I really started working with the Kapalabhati breath when my mother came to live with me. That was about 10 years ago or so. She's passed on now. But she got me into yoga and things. When I was 29, I was having a nervous breakdown. And she said, don't take the medication, Sandra. She said, try yoga. So I did. And it worked for me. So anyway, she came to live with me, and she was depressed. And it was shortly before she died. And she lived for number of years, and many of them with me. So I had to do the Kapalabhati breath to get my energy up. And so I did. I remembered the yogi, and I made it my main practice, this Kapalabhati breath. And I just kept working with it. And eventually, and she kept living with me. And eventually I could do it 10,000 times, just like he did. But I don't do that now. Now I've been working with it for COVID-19 just to get all of the energy going through my body. And I probably take it to about 1,000, but I would like you to take it to 100 for sure. It's not that hard to get to 100. And then I'd like you to take it to 500 eventually. Just to really get all the energy moving through your lungs. And it's what you're doing is you're opening up your energy body and getting the energy to move through the blockages. So when my mother was living with me, she was depressed, so she had a lot of blockages in her body. And these are on the nadis. In yoga, they're called nadis. And I was getting them on me. And so I had to keep my energy field high. And so as I did the breath, it would break down the blockages. But then I'd get new ones. So I'd have to do the breath again. I made it my main practice. And but when you're doing this breath now, and you're working with it, and I'll show you in a moment how to do that, but you want to be careful because you're going into these delicate tissues of the lungs, and they're all folded over. When they're wide, they're big. It's like the size of a tennis court, but they're folded over in your lungs, and you're opening them up. And if you go too fast or too much, it's like a muscle. You strain it, but in the lungs, it sort of feels like it's burning. And so you want to then slow down. I would slow down, I would stop for a while, give it a chance to integrate, and then go back again, opening up the breath, getting rid of the blockages. Wonderful for COVID-19 because we get blockages in our heart, we get blockages across our solar plexus, and we can break those down and feel a lot better and a lot more confident and alive with that energy coming into our bodies. So let me show you how to work with the Kapalibhati breath. It's probably best to start right here at your solar plexus, and you make it jump. You go so that this whole area jumps and the energy is moving through here. You don't do it from your nostrils. You don't go. You don't do that. You bring it into your body and bring it to wherever you want to clear. It might be your heart chakra. It'll be a little subtler at the heart. Or down here to clear out deeper anxiety through the solar plexus, through the third chakra. What I do is I close my eyes and I count like, see it jump? So that's 9, and then I say 1, 9, and then I say 2. So I've already done 20. It's not that hard to get up to 100. So that's 3, so I've done 30. And you can do that at the heart chakra. And when you've gone to as much as is comfortable, I always like to stop a little bit more early than when I think I should. And when you've gotten to where you feel like I'm just going to get myself settled here to do this. When you've gotten to where you feel a little uncomfortable, you stop. And then when you stop, you take breaths in. So I'm just going to do a little bit. See it jump? Make it jump. 1, 2, 3. And you close your eyes, and then you count and just do it all at once. And then when you get to that point, take a breath in. And you take a breath in until you feel that you can't breathe in anymore because there's a hardness. I can feel it now, just sort of right around here. You soften that hardness. It's usually in emotional blockages. And now I can't breathe in anymore, so I soften, and then I breathe in some more. And then I can't breathe in anymore, so I soften that area and keep going. And keep softening whenever you get to a point where you have to stop and it's hard. Soften and go right through it and just keep going. Sometimes you can just go forever and ever and ever and ever. It's like the breath gets so long. So keep doing that and keep exercising your lungs, getting the breath right through in these COVID-19s. It's just such an incredibly good preventive measure. And think of me, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'm only happy to answer them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.